What is up, my squirrelites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to another weekly update. And I am so sorry for it being a day late. I apologize. There's actually a lot I wanted to get covered in this video, and I kind of ran into some hiccups. There was also a lot of videos I was trying to push out and stuff like that, and I kind of also forgot, but I was going to push it out Tuesday evening. However, this is going to be a little bit of a loaded update, so there's a few things I want to talk about. Well, actually, really, when you boil it down, it's just two things, but two big things, okay? One, I actually kind of wanted to do another movie review. That's going to be the second thing I talk about. The first thing is actually what I'm going to be Let's Playing for the remainder of this year. I wanted to go over that now because I have actually decided what my schedule is going to be. But not only that, I've kind of broken it down, put it into detail, all that good stuff. And so I kind of want to, just make you guys aware of what to expect for the rest of 2016 on my channel. I mean, of course, there'll be, I'll throw in surprises here and there. But these are the things that I can almost guarantee you're going to see at some point this year, either starting and possibly finishing this year as well. So Pokemon Soul Silver and Fallout 4 are obviously the two that are going right now. Part of me is actually considering Fallout 4 ending a lot sooner than I anticipated. Not saying I'm not enjoying the game, because that's kind of what I said. Once I stopped enjoying the game, that's probably when I, book it to the end. But I still might come back to it. That's the thing. I'm thinking about going through the end of the main campaign, the main storyline, finishing it, and then, just kind of leaving it for a while. We can come back to it later, because let's be honest, this is probably going to be the last Fallout we see for, 6-7 years? So I think I got time. I mean, who knows? It might be only like 3 or 4 years, but even still, it's like I got time, and I probably will come back to it. I mean, there's all these future DLC releases and stuff like that I got to worry about too. And it's not like I'm going to be able to cover everything. I mean, come on. Especially when I have so many other projects I want to move on to, and this is not a full-time job. I just don't have the time to do that. I really don't have the time for a Let's Play to last for all of eternity. I mean, it absolutely can, but then everything else would have to take a back seat, and that's what I don't want, because I don't want to just make this a Fallout exclusive channel. So, first thing, one game that I've been really meaning to get to, because I've already LP'd the first one in the series, is BioShock 2. It is my favorite entry in the BioShock series, and I've really wanted to get around to doing it, and this year is going to be the year we do it. I think I did the first one 2 years ago, and that was completely blind. This of course will not be blind, obviously, since I've already formed the opinion that it is my favorite. And so yeah, I'm very excited to get to that one. I expect that one to start in the next month or two. Probably right after Soul Silver's finished. Maybe. We'll see. Because there's one other game that's coming out here relatively soon that I'd also want to cover, and that is Uncharted 4. I want to cover that as soon as it releases, and I have no idea if that's going to get in the way of anything or not. We will have to see. Another one I want to do, and it sounds kind of soon for this, but I want to get right into Pokemon Generation 3, Emerald specifically. I know Soul Silver is still not even over yet, and I'm already saying this, and considering the gap between Leaf Green and Soul Silver, that seems kind of crazy, but Emerald is my favorite game in the series, and so I really want to jump into it sooner rather than later, and possibly even do something special for it, make it last a little longer, even cover the Battle Frontier, all that stuff. I want to make it, I want to make it a good Pokemon Let's Play. I think after Emerald, I'll take a little bit of a break, probably a longer break, actually, before moving on to Gen 4, but I do want to cover Emerald relatively soon, because I do love Emerald, and I do love me some good Pokemon. There's also 2 Nintendo 64 games I'm actually looking to cover at some point here soon. One of them being the sequel to a game that I streamed, and also being one of my all-time favorite games, and that is Banjo-Tooie. I really want to jump into that soon. Finally do a Banjo game in the full Let's Play format, because let's be honest, Banjo-Kazooie really wasn't. I just Twitch streamed it and then re-uploaded it here because, I mean, I'll be frank, I don't enjoy that game near as much as its sequel. But the sequel holds a lot of, I have a lot of nostalgia for that game, so I'm very excited to jump right into that game. And then Super Mario 64. I've done Galaxy 2 in stream, and I've done Sunshine. It's time to get around to Mario 64. I mean, I'm not really that good at Mario 64, nor did I ever actually beat it as a kid. But it is Super Mario. I mean, I can get the grasp of it. It's not hard. I've played, a good 20, 30 hours of it in bursts throughout the course of my life. So I think I'll be fine. It's not like it's hard to figure out Super Mario 64. It's just I don't necessarily have the same exact experience with it that I do with Sunshine and Galaxy, which I have beaten multiple times. And then the other game that's supposed to be releasing this year, and of course I can't give you a definitive date for this, is none other than The Last Guardian. Good or completely terrible, I will be covering that game. Doesn't matter how it turns out. I'm going to be doing it day one. You can expect that. And the last one I wanted to talk about, and this will probably be starting towards the very end of the year, is yes, I'm going to be returning for the third time, and this time for good, to Skyrim. I do know that there probably is going to be another Elder Scrolls game within the next 2 years, probably. But Skyrim is by and far my favorite game in the series. I love it to death. I've done literally everything in that game there is to do outside of the Dragonborn DLC. I've actually never played that. But aside from that, I absolutely love this game. This time, though, I'm not going to be covering it on the PlayStation 3 like I did the first 2 times. I am actually going to be doing it on PC this time. And I'm going to be doing it with some mods. Not like a whole buttload, not a bunch of like graphical overhaul modes, because frankly my computer can't take all of that and recording at the same time. But there will be some mods for like immersion overhaul. There will be a few mods, like ones that kind of, like expand like the towns inside the game and stuff like that, or ones that add armor and weapon sets to the game and stuff like that. And then I will be running a few storyline mods that I've actually already personally tested myself, and I can say they are really darn good. There's a couple of fan-made ones that honestly don't really feel that out of place from the original game, and in some ways can even be better. So yeah, I'm going to be covering those as well. This is going to be a long form running LP. I've still got a lot to do with it before I even get started on it. But again, expect that probably towards the end of the year. Of course, there is always the chance of me maybe bringing up a series from First Impressions. And of course, First Impressions itself is going to continue throughout the year. And, there'll be Destiny stuff as well. I'm also very, very interested in upcoming games such as Overwatch and Battleborn. Probably Overwatch more specifically, so I might do some content on games like that. All sorts of things, coming up. Destiny's supposed to get another expansion later this year, so I'll be covering that as well. But as far as actual Let's Plays, BioShock 2, Uncharted 4, Pokemon Emerald, Banjo-Tooie, Super Mario 64, more than likely Last Guardian. I mean, I can't make a promise on that, considering there's always that small chance that it could be delayed. Although I doubt they really want to kill their reputation that much that they'd allow that to happen again. And then of course, Skyrim, which is probably going to be the last of all those to start. But yes, that is kind of the outlook for 2016. I hope some of those appeal to you people. I know a few people liked BioShock. I know a few people like Uncharted. Of course, being a day one LP, that might deter some people because they don't want to spoil it for themselves. Although, to be fair, any other day one buyers might want to follow along because I'm sure they'll beat the game before I finish putting out all the episodes for it. Pokemon Emerald, of course, every time I do a Nintendo Let's Play, it gets traction like that, and it's so much better. Pokemon Emerald, Banjo-Tooie, Super Mario 64, those will probably all be, I'm sure people will look forward to those. And then, of course, The Last Guardian, which is a game that I am incredibly, incredibly excited to finally be able to cover. And I would love to be one of the first people to do it. So expect that LP quick and, on point. Like, I kid you not, I will be waiting at my PlayStation 4 the second it is available, downloading it, and immediately getting into recording. And then immediately getting into entering in I expect that video 7 a.m. like the day that game comes out. But yes, so that's kind of one of the big things I wanted to talk about in this weekly update. And the other thing has to do with actually something I just got back from 20 minutes ago. And that is Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Okay, so where do I even begin with this? Of course, this is gonna be spoiler free. Of course, it's gonna be spoiler free. I'm not gonna go and blow, blow any surprises or secrets for anybody. But Batman fights Superman. Okay, spoiler alert. Maybe I should have given you that one. No, uh, Batman versus Superman has gotten a lot of controversy, obviously, because the critics lambasted it. The second the reviews came out, everyone's like, "Oh, this movie's terrible." And then, of course, everybody was quick to jump on and immediately defend it to an absurd level without even really having even seen it. Um, and this, of course, was directed by Zack Snyder, who did Man of Steel, which is a movie I did not like, by the way. I was not at all a fan of Man of Steel. I had far too many problems with it. And honestly, Batman versus Superman suffers from a lot of the same problems, if not more, than Man of Steel. Um, I feel like, I guess, okay. I feel like the writing is hokey in a lot of places. It is weird. I feel like a lot of character motivations are not that strong. There's, again, sort of like with the Man of Steel effect, where, again, spoilers, oh, all these people died, but hey, we're gonna, the Deus Ex Machina comes down to these specific people because even though they're random as well, that they are more important than the other thousands of people that just died. And it's like weird stuff like that just pop up in the movie. This movie has crap like that too. It has, the editing is by and far the worst part of this movie. I'm not even, like a Hollywood level of edit. I mean, I'm a okay editor. I'm a decent editor when I try, I'm not like, I don't have a huge eye for that thing, but even I could just sit through this movie and know, oh, you know what, you could have moved that scene there. I could have easily picked this thing apart, cut the film reel, like, and made it probably better. I felt like the editing in this was utter garbage. There was way too many cuts away from this. Oh, so now suddenly this is happening. Oh, but we're only going to show that for 10 seconds, then we're going to cut to something else. Like, it was just all over the place. It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. It's like that ADHD syndrome that trailers have, obviously, because they need to keep your attention. This whole movie felt like that. It really did. And it really did get irritating. It did. That is, I think, by far the worst aspect of this movie is the editing. That aside, the cinematography is great. Very, very, very good. But Man of Steel had that too. I feel like Zack Snyder does have a knack for that. At least he knows how to direct a good shot, for sure. I think he definitely suffers from more post production issues than he does from actual production issues. The acting, I loved it. Actually, I thought it was good. I know there was a lot of different characters people had problems with, but all in all, I don't really think there was a character I hated. I don't really think there was a character I even disliked all that much. Even I think the worst of the characters for me, and I'm not going to say who, was just okay. I mean, I enjoyed most of the performances. I loved all the actors. I will say Jeremy Irons as Alfred was a lot of fun, actually. I'm surprised how much I enjoyed him. I didn't think I could get over the fact that it wasn't Michael Caine anymore. But honestly, he was enjoyable. I loved hearing Scar's voice come out of Alfred. It was kind of fun. And I thought he pulled off the role very well. But of course, let's talk about the two main characters, which are Henry Cavill as Superman and Ben Affleck as Batman. I did not like. Sorry. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I actually liked Henry Cavill as Superman and Man of Steel. I felt like he was the only good part of that movie. I feel like he plays a good Superman, or he portrays the character well. The clean cut, good boy superhero guy that works at works for the Daily Planet. He plays that role very, very well. He's probably the best Clark Kent yet. And then, of course, everybody was skeptic about Ben Affleck. Oh, the guy who cries in every single movie? How is he going to play the toughest superhero? Well, I honestly think he was the best part of the movie. Like, I really do. Don't get me wrong. He had his scenes that were just like, what? In fact, one scene in particular that stands out, and this more had to do with the editing, was just terrible. Like, it was garbage scene about halfway through the movie, but at the same time, by the end of the movie, I really liked him. I thought he played a great great Batman. Like to be fair, although he didn't really have as much of the charisma as, like, let's say Christian Bale did with the Bruce Wayne character and stuff like that, and he didn't also, I don't think he pulled off the intelligent aspect of Batman as well either. He certainly got the intimidating and dark aspect of Batman down very, very well, which is honestly, I think, the thing most people were afraid of when it comes to Ben Affleck playing Batman. I think he pulled that off probably the best of any Batman ever. Um, the movie did feel like it dragged a little bit, but I enjoyed it because, okay, let me tell you exactly why I liked this movie. All right, just the biggest reason. Okay, and I am going to make a comparison to Marvel here. Marvel superheroes are a great representation of, they are taking ordinary man and making them extraordinary. That is what most, not all, of course, like Thor, he's an exception, but they are ordinary men and women becoming extraordinary men and women. That's the point of Marvel. Most of them are scientific experiments. They've got super suits and stuff like that. That's what most of them are. DC, on the other hand, I mean, there are, of course, again, there are exceptions like Batman himself. Almost all of them are literal gods. Like, they are just, huge. They are so much more powerful. Like, most members of the Justice League could probably single-handedly take on the entirety of the Avengers. Like, they are gigantic. And of course, I'm sure there have been crossovers that have said bullshit, but, so don't quote me on that, I guess. But they definitely come off with the appearance that they are so much bigger than this world. Okay, I mean, of course, a lot of them are aliens and whatnot. And you know what? This movie captured that perfectly. Whether it was just the action scenes and the cinematography, the effects, they made you feel like, oh my gosh, they are packing a punch that is almost inconceivable. Like, that's really how strong they are. You totally got that feeling every single time Superman threw a punch. You got that feeling every single time. I mean, spoiler alert, she's in the trailer. Wonder Woman shows up. You got that feeling with her. I mean, it really, really felt, as big as they wanted it to be. It did, and I loved that. That is why DC's always been so intriguing to me. I never really grew up with either one, Marvel or DC, in comic book sense or anything. In fact, the only superhero I really knew up until I graduated high school was Spider-Man, mostly because of the movies and the games, and as such, I kind of found myself a little bit interested in the comic book aspect as such, but for the most part, that was really it. It was just Spider-Man. And so when the Marvel movies started coming out, that was kind of the way I was forced into learning about all these superheroes. And of course, DC never really had good representation. I mean, the only halfway decent DC movie I can think of was Superman Returns, which, yeah, I mean, I can really think that's really the only one. I mean, aside from the Batman trilogy. And then, Batman Begins, but which really that movie's just an origin story that we've already heard 100 times, just retold in a way that's extremely good. So then we get this movie, which is actually trying to portray the DC characters as they really, really are. They don't feel, this is not standalone. They are trying to make the universe come together in this movie. And while they did it in a pretty sloppy fashion with the editing, while there was a few things that felt very shoehorned, and while there was a few things that it was just like, okay, oh my gosh, you did not need it in this movie. You could have put this in another one. It still packed the punch that it needed to pack. And that's what I loved about this movie. Of course, I'm definitely not going to say this movie's for everybody. I'm definitely not going to say, this movie's killed DC and the future of DC. No, not at all. I don't think that these films are trying to have the same effect that the Marvel films are going to have. I mean, they might be trying, but they're not doing a very good job of that. I think they're definitely taking this in another direction. And you know what? I want to see more. I really want to see more. I don't want Zack Snyder to be a part of it because, unfortunately, there's just the certain aspects of his direction are hurting these movies. They are. It really. I mean, of course, he isn't the one exactly who edited it, but obviously he had input, and I think part of his vision is a little bit too jumbled for this, a little bit too hard to make out, but At the same time, I still feel like this is a movie that you shouldn't completely overlook, okay? Because it does. It makes me. I want a Batman movie, just a straight up Batman movie with Ben Affleck. I want another Superman movie that doesn't involve the worst villain ever, aka General Zod, and it being pretty darn cool. I want that Wonder Woman movie now. Holy crap, do I want that Wonder Woman movie now? I loved her a lot. I want this. Okay, and that's, I think, is the reason that this movie, in my eyes, is a success. At least it is for me. Okay, of course, it's not gonna be for everyone, but don't overlook it and don't dismiss it too quickly, because if anything, at the very least, this is a great popcorn movie. And that is not a bad thing, I think. I feel like people are way too wrapped up in trying to feel like a movie is catering to their intelligence all the time, and they've got to be, oh, so high and mighty all the time, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I watched Live Free or Die Hard last night. I mean, it doesn't hurt to sometimes sit down and watch a stupid movie, okay? Because stupid movies can sometimes be a lot more fun than smart movies. And isn't the point of seeing a movie about having fun? I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion. Anyways, that's really all I wanted to talk about, of course. Two big topics of this update. But yes, bunch of Let's Plays to look excited for, and to look at... bunch of Let's Plays to be excited for. My goodness, I have ran out of talking. And also, of course, Batman vs. Superman. Go see it, please. 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 Just go see it and try to turn your brain off, I guess, a little bit when you do it, or at least don't go in with the expectation that you're going to hate the movie, because that's just not fair. I mean, yeah, it's not fair. Anyway, thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.